opportunities in of course in a design firm, but also in an architectural firm, a builder's office, or a chain of hotels and resorts, or a retail brand, or hospitals, or the public works department, or government bodies. So also, of course, the private consultancy and multinational design firms are also one of the things. But there is in general a lot of opportunity for interior design. Also, you will see that a lot of now, especially the current scenario in our country, or rather in the developing part of this world, is like Asia, or you can say India, Singapore, China, Dubai, and all these places, is you'll see a lot of multinational companies across the globe setting up offices here. So you would be able to get your exposure in working on international projects if you get into one of them. Also, it's just not these offices what I mentioned about, or employment opportunities. There is also a growing need for works in which it's not just about creating new spaces, but also renovation of existing spaces, or even restoration of heritage structures. So that's another area which is also developing in the field of interior design. Coming to the next next slide, if you see that
Shivangi, would you like to talk about the areas of specialization?
Yeah, so there are various areas of specialization that one can look into. So one is of course residential, which is again a very booming market. Second one is workplace design, which is offices and factories. So a lot of multinationals, a lot of Indian companies setting up offices, and since they're aware of international trends, they are looking at good designers who can create great spaces for them. Another option is also exhibit design. So you'll see because there is again a lot of boom in exhibitions and conferences, you'll see a demand for kiosk designers, which is again an aspect of interior design. Or even in galleries you need such experience. So apart from residential, workplace design and exhibit design, also commercial interiors, which involves retail spaces, shopping malls, warehouses, conference centers. So these are also another areas where one can specialize in. Also, the next one we can go on the leisure slide. So another area of specialization is leisure, which is your entertainment, like multiplexes and cinemas, theaters, gyms. Also, another area of specialization is hospitality, which includes your hotels and restaurants, pubs, cafes, nightclubs. Also, your spas and salons also come in hospitality. Rather, more spas come in hospitality sector. Another area of specialization is also your schools, colleges, universities. Nowadays, you don't have those mundane schools and universities that were there before, but they are really looking at an international look and feel for them. So that's another area which is developed recently. Of course, another area of specialization is healthcare, which is your health center, dental clinics, and nursing homes, private practices of doctors, private clinics, so pediatric clinics. So all these are another areas of specialization that are also developing. So coming to what are the perks of being in this industry? So first of all, an interior designer's job is a fun and creative job. That's what I would like to say here. There is no monotonous work, or you will not find every client asking for the same thing. So there are different expectations, different sizes of project, different needs. So even if you're working in like a certain area, like say salons or spas, you will not find one client asking for the same requirement as the other one. So it's quite challenging and interesting, and that's an inherent nature of this field. Also, it's very rewarding because you are you it's a field in which you see the final product with your own eyes. So it's kind of rewarding to see whatever you've drawn on a piece of paper, whatever you have designed on your computer coming up in in reality. So that's another perk which you cannot quantify. Um, Also, you can it's one of the fields in which you can have you can choose various different paths. So you can from running your own enterprise to doing a full-time job with a corporate or a firm, or even doing and having an option of doing freelance work. So it's one of that profession where you get these opportunities. um, Now, going to the next topic, which is what is an interior designer's life like? Well, it actually depends on what stage you are in your career. So, say if you are starting fresh and you just graduated from college, or you're an intern in a firm, you should be really prepared to work hard and go through the grind, because that will teach you some invaluable lessons which you can apply when you start or when you become a senior. Now, however, when your initial years of this grind is over, there comes a tipping point in which your career really, exponentially grows, where you become a senior, or you become a senior project manager, or of your design department, or you start running your company and you start projects pouring in, and it's like there will be that point in which your life then will change and really become really more rewarding. So all the turmoil that you've and the grind that you've gone before starts paying in that life then which you start living as an interior designer. So uh, other than that, your typical day will involve a lot of office work. um, Not so much of office work, but a good balance between office and site work. It will have different meetings with clients, various stakeholders of a project. So it's contractors or clients or suppliers. It also might involve a large amount of traveling, uh, and it's a creative industry, and the one good aspect and a part of your life becomes is you don't have to dress up in your formal wear or anything. You are, as an interior designer, can express yourself by wearing good creative clothing and all. So that's another part of your life, and or a benefit of working as an interior designer. So now, a lot of times you have to, we get these questions of, comparison between freelancing and working in a corporate firm, or corporate work. So, although it's a, here I would like to compare that in freelancing, you will have freedom of scheduling your time, and you'll have your creative freedom. Uh, but uh, you should be more financially prepared. Like, you should be able to plan it well, because in corporate, you will have a steady flow of you will have a steady flow of your finances. You have your salaries coming in. Um, of course, there you won't have your freedom of scheduling your time, and or you have lesser creative freedom. But that's an added perk of working in a corporate. You get your salary on time. Now, as a freelancer, you should be able to multitask, where you have to be on the creative side, you have to the administration, everything. So right from being your, you have to creating your invoice. So right from being an accountant to a peon, you have to do all, be prepared for all kinds of job. Whereas in corporate, you are assigned a certain task and it's predefined and you have to just follow it. Um, One of the key aspects of a freelancer is you should be really self-motivated, and you should have good, you should have the ability to persevere. Uh, that's the only thing that will result in a successful practice. Um, when well, in freelancing, you have an option of choosing your clients, um, but in corporate, you are just given that by the offices, so or your seniors. Also, in freelancing, you can explore different, ideas, or develop your own resources, develop your own, own set of vendors, and basically network on your own. Whereas in a corporate job, you might or might not get that option of creating that kind of a network or sourcing, or creating that range of resources. Um, yeah, so that's it. Next, going on the next slide. So, how will a Pearl Live's interior design course help you? Well, it's a 6 months online course designed for both practitioners and aspiring designers. And some of the key features of this course is it's a module-based structure with objective learning resources, discussion topics, and practical assignments. So it's a really well-rounded course. Also, it's an asynchronous learning kind of a course, which means that you don't have a restriction of time and day. You can log in anytime, do your coursework and log out. But at the same time, you have a weekly deadline, and this helps maintain the structure of the course. Another key feature is it's also a mentor led course, which means that every learner will be assigned a mentor who will guide and support them throughout the course. Uh, One of the very key features which you will see in particularly, which I think is very unique to this to Whole Life, is they help you build a portfolio. So as a part of live projects. Also, there is the Pearl Connect program, which is PCP, which is at the end of the course, you get real academic industry feedback on projects. So, the courseware partners for this is, of course, Pearl Academy, then the New York Institute of Art and Design, which is a really prestigious institute who developed the coursework, and Smart On, who are basically the coordinators of the course. Now, what is the syllabus? Basically, Module 1 is Introduction to Design. Module 2 is Design Tools, which involves drawing and room planning. Module 3 is another design tools class where you have aesthetics, working on the aesthetics like color and lighting and furniture, fabrics and accessories. Module 4 is Design Tools 3, which is budgets, scheduling, how to budget projects and schedule them, materials and constructions. Module 5 is other interior spaces and business skills. So what projects will you be doing as a part of this course? Where first will be able to identify and interview a client using a lifestyle questionnaire. Draw a floor plan using AutoCAD. Develop concepts for your interiors. Develop mood boards for each room, which again, tying back to the coursework, you need doing the color and the lighting and the fabrics and wall and floor finishes, so everything. And this is using Photoshop software. Also, the budgeting part of the course, which is the quantity estimation, which will depend on what you're designing and what is your plan. And the final concept, implementation, budget, and schedule presentation to the client. So,
Thank you very much, Shivangi, for that extremely informative talk. I think all the participants on the webinar are much more aware of the different career opportunities in interior design. And there are a couple of questions that came during your talk. So I'll go ahead and ask them one by one.
Okay.
The first is about how does someone who is already in an existing profession, either as an IT professional or an HR professional, how do they make a shift into pursuing their passion and hobby, which is interior design?
See, for like if you are in a software job, I think all this course particularly is a good idea to go in, because you get that flexibility of doing, like after work hours you can do a course online, and on a weekend you can do the projects and submit it and get your certification. So this will be a good idea for a person who's working or has a full-time job. Yeah, I think how I answered the question.
Yes, I think this was helpful, Shivangi. There are a lot of students and participants that really want to make that shift and either pursue interior design as a hobby or as a full-time profession. So this was helpful. I have another question from Sahil, who says, do you see the demand for interior design only in big metros or cities, or do you see it from tier 2 and 3 cities as well?
I think there is a lot of demand in tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well, because there are, they usually see that, all these big metros are doing interior design, like, all right from the salons and spas or offices. They can see a lot of, you are aware because of, again, the networking exposure, and you see images, international projects or projects in a city. So there are a lot of people, like especially for us, we are working on a lot of salon and spas projects in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So yes, there is definitely demand over there, and it's growing, as I can see.
Okay, I have another question from Karishma, who wants to know, if somebody is starting off as a freelancer, how do they go about acquiring their first client?
Your first client can come from anywhere. Actually, it comes from your friend, family, or your ex-colleagues. That is one option to go for. So there are good chances that you'll get a residential design project that way. Or you can approach various. If you have a good portfolio of what work that you have done before, you can approach big firms who have usually a lot of projects that they can't handle, and they are happy to kind of give it out freelance designers, so that they still have the project in their firm, but they don't have that much bandwidth to manage it. So that's another option that you can go for. Approach big design firms or corporate, and yeah, those are the two options that I can think of.
Okay, great. One reminder again, so please go ahead and type your questions in the question section, or you can also type it in the chat window. I have another question here from Krishna Chaitanya, who says, learning Photoshop and AutoCAD over online is easy. So yes, Krishna Chaitanya, we will have a couple of tutorials that will teach you how an expert would go about designing a floor plan or creating a mood board using Photoshop. So you will have access to a step-by-step simulation of how an expert would do a project, and you can use that as a reference to build your own project. I hope that answers your question. We have another question coming here, which says, when I choose the track, should I be particular about one versus the other? That is, if I'm starting a career in interior design, should I focus on residential versus commercial or hospitality sector right from the beginning?
Well, I don't think so. You should do that. Many times it happens that if you start with residential projects, you keep on getting more residential projects, and if you start with offices, you keep on just because people have seen your work before, so they will give you more of that kind of work. But I think one should make a conscious effort to diversify and have exposure to other kinds of specializations, like maybe if you're doing residential work, so try to get projects which are office projects or salons or retail projects, so that one you will get a more rounded experience. It will help you grow, as if you are a freelancer or if you are starting off a firm, then it will help you grow. And third, also it will it will become monotonous if you keep on doing residential design again and again and again. At one point of time, it will become monotonous. So I would say, like, don't target a specialization right at the beginning. It most probably it might just happen to you without you going for it. So it just as a result of you doing residential, it just might happen that you get that, and that's how you will become a specialist in that. Don't target of at least I feel, don't target on being a specialist in a certain in a certain area.
Okay, I have another question here from Kavisha Agarwal, who wants to know, after role as a mother of an infant, do I have an option of working from home?
Of course you do. I have a 4.5-year-old, and of course I have a proper office and everything. But I mean, there is like today's day and age, you are completely connected via internet and your WhatsApp and everything, so you can completely work from home. But of course, when you have to go to the site or client meetings, you should be able to adjust your family duties with the professional ones that you have.
Thank you, Shivangi. I think that's a very inspiring answer as well. I know there are a lot of participants on this webinar and others that we've been speaking to who really want to explore this career option also for the flexibility that it offers them. And I think it
Right,
is
right.
a great way of keeping their professional and personal lives balanced.
Right.
I have another question from Krishna Chaitanya, who wants to know what will be the remuneration expected in the initial stages of someone's career in interior design.
I would say anything starting from 10,000 is what you can expect at the initial level. And yeah, of course, it grows as your experience goes and your knowledge of the field grows. So yeah, around that is what you should expect.
Yeah, I think, and also it would definitely vary if they were starting off as a freelancer and they land their first real big client versus working with a corporate.
Right, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. And there is one more question about whether so Shweta Kundevar wants to know if this course will help us develop our field.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you will get exposed to you know just creative thinking and problem solving, which you will not, like, flipping through magazines is not a creative work, but problem thinking of a problem in a structured manner will help you more, and I think this course will help you do that.
Okay. There are a couple of course-related questions which I will answer. So Shivangi, just give me a minute or two. I have a question here from one second. So there was a question from somebody who wanted to know if after completion of the course there will be job assistance. This is from Shweta Kundevar. So Shweta, yes, the course that you're doing is from Pearl Life, the online education initiative of Pearl Academy, and you will be considered a student of Pearl Academy, so you will have access to the career replacement services that are offered to other students as well. So whether you're looking for an internship or you're looking for a job, you can work with the team to figure that out. But yes, it will be a part of the program. There was another question about, so Krishna Chaitanya again has a question on recruitment assistance. Krishna Chaitanya, I hope I answered the question for you. And like Shivangi mentioned, in interior design, once you start off as a professional, it's really about finding that path, whether you want to do something on your own or start off with a corporate. And there are topics in this course which will help you make that decision for yourselves while you are in the program. So at the end of it, if you really want to start off on your own, then you need a set of business skills. And if you want to find a job, then there is an avenue available for you. Shivangi, while there are a couple of other questions coming in, if you first broad journey as an interior designer with the participants, I know you've won 2 international design awards as well.
Yeah.
If you could tell us what they were for and what were the projects that got you these awards?
Well, those awards were actually for a product design project. I had designed the traffic light, and of course, it was the award was for designing something out of aluminum extrusion. So I chose to design a traffic light, and so that was well received over there, and I won an award for that. As far as my journey in interior design is concerned, after doing my masters in US and working there in a design firm, I got an experience of working on retail interiors. So that is how I got exposed to interior design. Before that, I am an architect by profession, and then I did my masters in design. But my real exposure came when I started working on retail interiors at A-Tech in San Francisco. And after that, when I came back here, I started getting, started approaching various corporates for projects in retail space for salons and spas. And after a couple of months, I got a project of a salon's interior project, and that was a one-off project that I worked on, and I put my heart and soul into it, and and it was well appreciated, well received, and then slowly I started getting more projects, and then of course the same thing happened, like retail interior projects started pouring in, and now we are also doing office interiors. So it's slowly and organically has been able to grow to what it is today.
Great. I think that's a great journey. I'll just take a couple of more questions. So Karishma has another question. She wants to understand how credible the course is and what the certificate will say. Great question, Karishma. So in terms of the certificate, the program is a 6-month program, and you will get a certificate that will be called a professional certificate in interior design. This will be awarded by Pearl Academy, and Pearl Academy, as all of you are familiar with, is a leading creative arts and design school that's been around for 20 years. They are a part of the Laureate Network Institutions, which is a global education institution that has over 100 universities in different parts of the world. So it is an opportunity for all of you to benefit from the Laureate Network Association as well. As Shivangi spoke sometime earlier, New York Institute of Art and Design is the courseware partner for this program. So the content that you will go through will be of global and international standards. You will work on a lot of case studies that are international case studies. There are a lot of videos of interior designers and stores that are shot in New York, which is considered one of the design capitals of the world. So, from a course standpoint itself, there is a lot of collaboration between global partners that adds credibility to this program. Mr. Chaitanya has another question. So he wants to know, if we start off freelancing, what would be the investment required? Shivangi?
Actually, really, I mean, just a computer, I would say, and a few maybe a printer, a color printer. So apart from that, if you mostly freelancer work from home, so you have your own electricity and internet connection and everything, which can be used. But yeah, that's the minimal investment required. That's what makes this profession quite exciting and interesting, and just so many opportunities are there.
Yeah, and I think lots and lots of creativity. That's all it takes. So there's another question about the course. Sahil again says, interior design course offered online sounds cool. I'm curious as well as skeptical. What kind of support can I expect while I'm doing this course? Sahil, that's a great question. One of the differentiators, in fact, there are a couple of differentiators of this program that will make you seem as if you're doing an academic course and not an online course with you're doing in isolation. So first, as Shivangi mentioned earlier, every student is assigned a mentor at the beginning of the course, and this mentor is really available to you for any questions regarding the course, regarding your schedule, regarding the curriculum, or technical issues that you're facing during the program. So the mentor is somebody you can reach out to for all of these questions and queries. They are assigned to you by name. We give you their email ID, their Skype ID. You can schedule discussions and interactions with them at any given point in time. Secondly, folks like Shivangi, in fact, senior practicing interior designers, are a part of the faculty panel for this program. And all these senior interior designers and practitioners would be interacting with all the learners throughout the course. Some of them would be offering guidance on the projects. So if you're asked to create a floor plan in AutoCAD, you would have somebody who's a practicing faculty view that and give you feedback online. Thirdly, you will also have support in the form of virtual courses. So there are a lot of there's a 24/7 support desk that's made available to you. And more importantly, you'll also be working on a couple of group assignments. So you'll have an opportunity to network and interact with other learners who are doing the course. And that really is the beauty of online learning. You could be in a group with somebody who is just starting off their career in interior design, sitting in Pune, and somebody else sitting in Nagpur, who has 10 years of experience and wants to really understand the basics of interior design. So that's another feature of the course. Kavisha has another question. She says, is it important to have an idea of architecture if I'm planning my career in interiors? For a person like me who has no background in this line, is it worth doing the course? So Shivangi, if you could take the first part of the question as to whether it's important to have an idea of architecture for a career in interiors.
Right. I don't think so. It's important to have an idea of architecture, but yes, you can develop. You can develop a keen interest, because that will definitely reflect in your design and way you pursue the space. But yes, you need to have some technical knowledge about architecture, which means like how a building is, how the beams are, how is the structural system. So all those basic knowledge need to be there. But yeah, I mean, other than that, architectural design you can develop on your own as you go ahead in this profession. Does that answer the question?
Kavisha, I hope that was helpful. If not, please let us know. You could either shoot us another question or just type a chat message. Krishna Chaitanya has another question. He wants to know, is this course advisable for a person who has never dealt with design and creative work?
Yes, I think it is advisable if you have a creative inclination towards anything. I think this is a course that will help you let it out. So I think you should have the liking for creativity.
Sure, Shivangi, so I'll just add to that. Krishna Chaitanya, this course is meant for people who have a flair for design and creativity and not really an experience or exposure. So you may have a keen eye for design which others do not. You may be able to look at an interior and really figure out what's right and what's wrong. And that's just a knack and a trait that comes without any training. That's all you need to get started in this course. The course will take you through a journey of what is design, how do you develop a keen sense for design, what are the different aspects of doing up an interior. You will start right from drawing up floor plans, like we discussed earlier about the course structure. How do you the lighting, the furniture, the fabrics. You will cover all of these in the course, and all you need as a starting point is a keen sense for design and a passion to make a career out of this. And Krishna Chaitanya, you will also get a special gift from us for being the most active participant. We have your questions, and I'm sure other participants are benefiting from questions as well. So Varsha here has a question. I'm a working professional. Are there strict deadlines for assignment and what if I miss it? Great question, Varsha. So yes, every assignment has a deadline. That's the first part of the answer. Second, in case you miss an assignment, there is a grace period that's given to you, which could be another couple of days. But there are 4 weeks in the program that are given to you towards the end to really catch up on all the other assignments and project work that you have to complete. So the culmination of the program would be in the form of a presentation that you would make to a panel of industry experts, where you've taken a concept from the beginning and you've executed it in the form of a plan and a concept presentation. So that's something that you need to prepare through these 6 months. And so long as you're able to finish that towards the end, which is the major project, other assignment deadlines you have to meet with a certain amount of grace period. Kvisha has another question. Ma'am, would this course give us the basic idea about architecture which you say is needed? So Kavisha, this course does not cover any topics in architecture per se. But like Shivangi mentioned, there is an element of architecture and interior design as well. So we will help you understand topics that have that relation. But this is not an architecture course as such. There is a different focus and depth that needs to get into a course like that. But wherever there is an overlap between architecture, architectural concepts, and interior design, that is a part of this course. Okay, there is another question from Ragasri Ranjita. Will this course alone help us get jobs in freelancing or in corporates without architectural exposure at all? So Shivangi, I think there are a lot of questions about this gap between architecture and interior design. Do people really need to have that background? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's what as I said before, you don't need to have that kind of background, but you need to have, develop a aesthetic view towards architecture. I think your course and you guys will be teaching room planning will cover the basic aspects as I discussed, where the columns and beams need to be taken into consideration so that, you see to it when you think of the right elements of a structure. So, but yeah, the technical knowledge of architecture, I think so is required for this course.
I have a question here from Navin Kumar who wants to know, will I need to buy a few books as well while studying? So Naveen, you do not have to buy any books to complete the course. However, we will recommend a couple of books that would be a great reference for you going forward in your career. So you could use them as reference materials, but all the content, all the material that is required to complete the course will be provided to you online. So there's nothing additional that you need to buy as far as the course materials are concerned. Jyoti has another question. I want to know the tenure for each module. So Jyoti, as you're aware, this is a 6-month program, so that's 24 weeks. And there are 5 modules, but first module is spread over 3 weeks. The second module is slightly longer, which is about design tools 1, drawing. It's spread over 4 weeks. The third one is another 4 weeks. So on an average, every module is spread anywhere between 3 to 5 weeks. And in modules where you are expected to develop plans using AutoCAD or Photoshop, you're given an additional week to practice when you getting used to the new tool and then producing an output. So you will have those weeks where there are no lessons that are being taught, but you will be expected to work on your project using the new tools that you will pick up. So, okay, Krishna Chaitanya, you have a couple of questions. I'll club all of them together and then answer them. Kalisha says, post completion, will I have the knowledge to execute a basic freelance project on my own? Kalisha, I would go ahead and say yes, the course will help you do that, but it also depends on how much you extract from the course. The course is designed actually to enable anybody with a keen sense of design and an interest and passion to really start with small interior projects on their own. But it also means that you have to invest time, the resources in this program, which is typically between 5 to 7 hours on a weekly basis. And you're able to do that, make use of the resources given to you, interact with the mentors, discuss, participate in discussions with other learners. I think you will be in a very good position to start a project on your own. Second, like Shivangi covered earlier, you will be building an online portfolio by the end of this course. So it is a portfolio that you can take to anybody and showcase that this is what I've actually done in my interior design course, which can be your starting portfolio for either getting new customers or if you're meeting an employer, which is typically something that that you cannot produce on your own until you go through a very guided and a regular program. So I hope that answers your question. Sahil has another question. So Sahil and Krishna Chaitanya, you guys are really competing for the most number of questions aboard. Sahil says, my uncle works in Indian Navy and I'm asking this question on his behalf. He is interested in the interior design course, is 50 years old and wants to start his second career in interior design. Do you think you should do this course? Shivangi, so what are your thoughts?
Of course. I'm being, I don't know whether I'm being biased, but being in this field, I think is most, like, it's a very creatively satisfying career. So it doesn't matter what age you are, you get to create a lot of interesting spaces and everything. So, yeah, I don't think so. Age is an issue over here.
Okay, great. And that in fact is a question that many other participants had, which we've been speaking to over some time. So glad you mentioned that age is not a barrier, age is not a criteria, it's again the passion and the keen interest.
Right, and the courses like this, Paul, these are the courses that help you graduate into that profession. And then again, it's like what you said to the earlier question that it's what you extract from it that will help you, practice and start off with the first project. So I don't think so. It's like the age or is any criteria over here or choosing this field.
There's another question from Nagasri Ranjita who wants to know if we need to take extra coaching on AutoCAD and Photoshop 3D Math. That's a good question, Nagasri Ranjita. So you will not be expected to take any additional coaching on AutoCAD and Photoshop. We will provide you with a couple of resources that can really help you get started with both these programs. Now these two softwares can take months and years to master. That's not the intent of this program. The focus really is to help you understand how to navigate the basics of both these softwares to be able to produce small deliverables. Like you should be able to create a mood board in Photoshop, which requires for you to maybe explore a couple of menu items and a couple of keyboard shortcuts. That's something that we will help you with And we'll also give you a set of resources where you can practice before you start the course. And that's why we recommend, in fact, to everybody that the sooner you get started with the course, the better. So you can catch up on a lot of pre-reading, go through these tutorials, and learn the basics of these documents. So no, you don't need any extra coaching. Whatever is required for the course, we will help you with it. Kavisha, okay, so we've answered Kavisha's question, and Krishna Chaitanya, I'll take your last question. First, whether the certificate has universal acceptance. Well, yes, the certificate is given by Pearl Academy. It is an academically recognized certificate, which will carry credibility wherever you take it. Second question from Chaitanya again is, what does a portfolio consist of? We answered this question a little earlier, but a portfolio will consist of all the work that you've done during the course. So if you've developed a new layout for one-bedroom apartment in AutoCAD, you will take a printout of that and put it into a docket, which will become a part of your portfolio. If you've developed a mood board for children's bedroom in Photoshop, you'll take a printout of that, put it into a docket. Again, there goes your portfolio. So there are deliverables that you produce at the end of every week, which get added to your portfolio, and that's something that you take away as a tangible outcome of having done this course, apart from the professional certification and the knowledge. Shweta has a question, do we need to buy AutoCAD and Photoshop software? Great question again, Shweta. The answer is no. It will be provided to you as a part of the course for the duration that you require it for. It's included in our course fee. Kavisha says, will the course give us good idea about exhibition design? So Kavisha, the focus of this course is residential because it's a 6-month program. We really need to take 1 year to through the basics of concepts and design in that. So you will be working on residential projects for the majority of the course. However, towards the end, I think in week 17 or 18, you will have 2 weeks of classes and lessons on the different types of interiors, which includes exhibition design as well, and how you should go about planning for those separately. So there is no in detail coverage about exhibition design, but yes, you'll have a good exposure for you to understand the peculiarities of designing for exhibition. So I think that brings us to the end of the webinar. It was very, very interactive, and glad we got to answer a couple of questions with all of you. Shivangi, on behalf of everyone here, thank you very much for your time and your valuable inputs. I personally benefited a lot from hearing about your journey and all the different topics that you covered in the presentation. Thank you very much for your time, and to all the participants, thanks for asking your questions. We look forward to being in touch with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sorry?
There are these 3 or 4 people in questions. Krishna Chaitanya, Kavisha.